A very good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. Well, 4 people are dead as Cyclone Varda hit the Tamil Nadu coast this afternoon. Well, that is our top focus as we keep a close check on the weather situation in South India. Also, a look at the developments as Indonesian President Joko Widodo visited India. And also, India's cricket team's biggest test win versus England. Well, these were the top stories that we'd be tracking, that and much more in this bulletin in the next half an hour. Let us begin with the headlines. Cyclone Varda pounds coastal districts of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh with heavy rains and high-velocity winds. Power supply affected and rail and air services just suspended in many areas. Indonesian President Joko Widodo holds talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. Both sides signed MOUs on economic partnership, defence, security and anti-terrorism cooperation. Cyrus Mistry removed as director of Tata Industries. The Tata Sons appeals to shareholders to remove Mistry, saying his presence is likely to break the Tata Group. India defeats England by an innings and 36 runs in the fourth test in Mumbai, takes unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match test series. Virat Kohli declared man of the match for double century. And China expresses serious concern over Donald Trump's remarks on Taiwan. US President-elect says no reason why US should abide by one China policy unless Beijing reciprocates on trade. The top story this evening, 4 people are killed in Tamil Nadu as the cyclone Varda made landfall in Chennai this afternoon, causing massive destruction, uprooting trees and power lines and throwing a normal life out of gear. Now, people have been advised to stay indoors. Precautionary measures have been taken by the authorities with the Army, Navy and Air Force on standby. Now, more than 16,000 people have already been evacuated. Heavy rain and strong winds lashing the Tamil Nadu coast and neighbouring Andhra Pradesh. With wind speeds up to 120 and 130 km per hour, Cyclone Varda hit areas adjoining Chennai, uprooting hundreds of trees, disrupting land and air transport and throwing normal life out of gear. Power supply was suspended in many parts of coastal regions of Tamil Nadu as a precautionary measure. The Met Department says the storm will take about 4 hours to cross land completely.
Tamil Nadu में चेन्नई को हिट कर रहा है और इसके बाद में ये अंदर तमिलनाडु क्रॉस करके कर्नाटका क्रॉस करके फिर अरेबियन सी जाएगा. तो कल ये जो है कर्नाटका पहुंच जाएगा और परसों जो है ये कर्नाटका से आगे बढ़ के गोवा के साउथ से निकल के ये अरेबियन सी में जाएगा.
Over 7,000 people were evacuated from Tamil Nadu and more than 9,000 in Andhra Pradesh. The Navy has 2 ships ready with doctors, food and water for 5,000 people. NDRF teams have also been positioned in various vulnerable districts of both Tamil Nadu and Andhra. Both the state chief ministers held review meetings and are monitoring the situation closely. Flight operations at the Chennai airport have been suspended, long-distance buses have been stalled and all suburban train services have been suspended. All schools and colleges are closed today in Chennai, Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur, besides coastal areas of Villupuram.
जो चेन्नई सबर्बन ट्रेन नेटवर्क है उसको फिलहाल सस्पेंड कर दिया गया है, स्थगित कर दिया गया है अगले नोटिस तक. जो लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस की ट्रेन हैं उनको जैसे कोरोमंडल एक्सप्रेस है, नवजीवन एक्सप्रेस है, इस तरह की ट्रेनों को हम जो है अराकोनम, रेनीगुंटा और गुडूर इस रूट से डाइवर्ट करके चला रहे हैं जहां भी संभव हो रहा है.
NDRF is closely monitoring the situation. We have already pre-positioned teams in Andhra Pradesh. For Tamil Nadu, we pre-positioned our teams, 3 in Chennai, 2 in Kanchipuram district, 2 in Tiruvallur, and 1 team is on its way to Puducherry.
The Met Department says the sea will be rough along and off the Andhra Pradesh and North Tamil Nadu coast for 48 hours and fishermen have been asked to avoid going out to sea. The National Disaster Management Authority also advised people to remain in safe places. The cyclone that originated in southern Thailand has claimed about a dozen lives there. As it moved towards India, it also stranded tourists at Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They were later rescued by the Indian Navy. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. On to the other top story now. Well, India and Indonesia signed 3 agreements to boost the security and defence ties between the two nations today. Well, this was after Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a delegation-level talks with visiting Indonesian President Joko Widodo. Combating terrorism and economic partnership remain the major focus of the meetings. Now, Widodo is in Delhi on a 2-day visit to India. It is his first visit after assuming power in October 2014.
Combating terrorism topped the agenda in the talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indonesian President Joko Widodo on Monday. In a joint media address with visiting Indonesian President, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India and Indonesia have agreed to give top priority to their defence and security ties in order to jointly tackle terrorism and organised crime.
We agreed to prioritize defence and security cooperation. As 2 important maritime nations that are also neighbors, we agreed to cooperate to ensure the safety and security of the sea lanes in disaster response and environmental protection. The joint statement on maritime cooperation outlines the agenda of our engagement in this field.
The Prime Minister also asserted that the two nations share the value of democracy, diversity and social harmony and have nurtured strong bonds of business and culture. On his part, Widodo said Indonesia wanted to increase bilateral trade ties and diversify exports to India.
Indonesia also wishes to diversify its export products to India. We also discussed effort to increase investment cooperation. Indonesia invites India to increase investment cooperation in pharmaceutical, IT, and automotive.
The two countries signed 3 agreements after the delegation-level talks at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. A memorandum of understanding was signed on cooperation in the area of youth and sports, while another was signed on cooperation in the area of standardization. Earlier in the day, Widodo was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, following which he met President Pranab Mukherjee and Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari. He also paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat in New Delhi. Widodo is on a 2-day visit to India.
The biggest Muslim nation and largest economy in ASEAN, Indonesia is strategically located in Asia-Pacific region. It will be interesting to see that how relations between India and Indonesia grows at the time where radicalization is also taking place very fast in Indonesia. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Television with camera person Pusanta in Delhi.
On to some other news now. Well, Cyrus Mistry was today removed as the director of Tata Industries. Now, the development is likely to escalate the boardroom battle that erupted after Mistry was sacked as the head of the multi-billion-dollar Tata Sons Group. Now, Mistry was removed as the director today after an extraordinary general meeting. Now, last week, Tata Group interim chairman Ratan Tata wrote to shareholders asking their support in removing Mistry as the chairman. Tata Consultancy Services will have its EGM on 13th of December now to remove Mistry as the director. Electronic voting for the TCS EGM is already underway. Now, 6 other companies, Tata Consultancy Services, Indian Hotels, Tata Motors, Tata Chemicals, Tata Power and Tata Steel have all called EGMs. Now, Tata Sons had removed Mistry as the chairman on 24th of October. Since then, the group is sponsoring the EGMs beside consulting top lawyers and also doing last-minute appeals to shareholders to ensure Mistry's removal. And a discount of 0.75% on petrol and diesel will kick in at midnight on fuel purchases made using modes of digital payment. Well, this discount will be by way of cashback, which will be credited to the buyer's account in 3 days from the transaction. The discount on payments made using either debit cards or credit cards, e-wallets or mobile wallets will translate into a rebate of 49 paise a litre on petrol and 41 paise on diesel. Well, the announcement was made by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley last week as the government looked to promote digital cash post-demonetization. Well, the other measures include discounts on online payments for insurance policies, rail tickets and highway toll charges as well. Well, continuing with our focus on demonetization, well, the steel city of Odisha, Rourkela, has a thriving transport industry employing thousands of people. No wonder then demonetization has hit not only the industry very hard, but also those who rely on it for their living. Rajya Sabha TV takes a close look at the problems being faced by the people.
The steel plant and iron ore mines around Rourkela have given birth to a robust transport business in the city. It is an important component of Odisha's economy, both in terms of business and employment. But the note ban has hit business hard.
मैंने 1500 बंद होने बहुत सा असर है। देखिए, हम लोग अपने जैसे गाड़ी हम लोग लोड करते हैं, पार्टी भी बोलती है कि हम अभी कैश पेमेंट नहीं करेंगे, चेक पेमेंट करेंगे। किंतु अगर हम लोग लोड करने का लेआउट करेंगे, यहाँ से जो गाड़ी जाएगी उसके लिए फ्यूल चाहिए, ड्राइवर खर्चा चाहिए, वो कहाँ से आएगा?
Although transporters are not opposed to cashless transactions, they believe it will be a long time coming.
अगर ये डिसीजन थोड़ा अगर ठहर के लेते तो सबको पता चलता तो गाड़ी घोड़ा जितना बाहर में है वो लोग उनको दिक्कत नहीं होता। ये भी मान लीजिए हम लोगों ने गाड़ी भेज दिए थोड़ा दूर 400-500 किलोमीटर, हम लोगों को तो पता नहीं था जब 500,000 बंद रहेगा और ड्राइवर लोग तो चिल्लर लेके जाता नहीं, कहीं पर तेल भरने के लिए समस्या, कहीं पर टायर पंक्चर बनाने के लिए समस्या, कहीं पर खाने के लिए समस्या। मोटा नोट में जब चलेगा नहीं तो होटल वाला लेता नहीं, टायर वाला लेता नहीं, गाड़ी ब्रेकडाउन हो गया।
Owners of big transport businesses are managing to hold their own in these difficult times, but the small transporter has been left in a quandary.
धंधा पानी में एकदम हम लोग का मंदा चल रहा है। हफ्ता दिन हो जाता है, 10 दिन बहुनी पापत हो जाता है पैसे के चलते। अब अल्लाह जाने आगे क्या होता है, पैसा आएगा नहीं आएगा उसके बारे में तो मोदी जी बताएंगे या देश के लोग बताएंगे।
मेरा काम धाम तो असर तो बहुत हुआ है। जैसे कि मेरा एक तो गाड़ी है, जैसे कि मेरा किसी तो बहुत है, लेकिन अगला महीना जो नोटबंदी का चलते बंद हुआ था, कलकत्ता भेजे थे 14 रोज खड़ा हुआ था, आया तो बचा तो क्या बचेगा, उसमें तो किस्त भी नहीं निकला मेरा अगला महीना।
The currency crunch and hoarding of new notes is not helping matters either.
भैया पब्लिक हम लोग कतार में खड़े हैं, तो पब्लिक को 200 रुपया नहीं मिल रहा है, हैं और 10 लाख रुपया ब्लैक हो जा रहा है। मेरा इतना कहना मतलब कैसे कारण से ब्लैक होता है, कहाँ से लीकेज होता है।
जो हॉस्पिटल में पैसा देने के लिए जो है मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, वहाँ जाने से जो है 2000 रुपया देता है और लग रहा है 8000 10,000 रुपया। 2000 रुपया में क्या करेंगे, पेशेंट को हॉस्पिटल में रखे रहेंगे।
Rourkela's transport business has been hit hard by demonetization, affecting the earnings of a large group of people, especially the daily wage earners. Sham Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here is another ground story coming in from Ghaziabad. Well, more than a month after demonetization, the cash crunch has still not eased. Most of the ATMs are still without cash, and the 3 days of bank holidays has not helped matters.
Ever since demonetization was announced on November 8th, there are only a few ATMs that have been dispensing cash. Now the 3 consecutive days of bank holiday has dried up even the few that had some cash.
3 दिन से तो ATM में कैश ही नहीं है, आज चौथा दिन है, अब आज भी छुट्टी है तो फिर कल तक डिपेंड रहेंगे, तो स्थिति थोड़ी दयनीय है, देखते हैं अब कब तक सुधरती है।
और कुछ अगर कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन करने हो या कुछ वो भी नहीं हो रहा है, पेट्रोल के लिए वांदे और अपना अगर कुछ लेने जाओ तो उसके लिए तकलीफ हो रही है।
An ATM in Khoda village, Ghaziabad, about 50 kilometers from the national capital, has not been refilled since the announcement on November 8th.
बहुत परेशानी पूरी भरपूर, पैसे नहीं मिलते हैं, ATM में पैसे पड़े ही नहीं है। 8 तारीख से 8 तारीख को शाम को डिक्लेयर किया 8 बजे, 9 तारीख के बाद इसमें पैसे पड़े ही नहीं बिल्कुल ही।
आप लोग कैसे कर रहे हैं?
ऐसे ही काम चला रहे धीरे धीरे, जहाँ 2 रुपये खर्चा हो 50 पैसे खर्चा कर रहे हैं, उधार ले रहे, किसी से मिल जाते हैं, कभी कभार नहीं मिलते, भूखे सो जाते हैं।
ये पेटीएम वगैरह इसके बारे में भी हमें जानकारी नहीं है अभी, लेकिन अगर कोई आता है तो हम उससे मना कर देते हैं क्योंकि हमें इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं है। अब सभी लोग एक आधा आता है, सभी लोग को इसकी जानकारी नहीं है, कैसे यूज करते हैं इसे कैसे नहीं, तो हम मना कर देते हैं।
Around 90% of the ATMs across the country have no cash, and with the banks remaining closed till Monday, there's a little hope of a breather even on Tuesday. The other problem is procuring change for a 2,000 rupee note, forcing small traders and businesses to lose up to 60% of their earnings.
How can common man survive with this kind of things? See, we need 100 rupee notes or at least 500 rupee notes, but unfortunately we are not getting it. I think last few days were holidays. The banks should arrange money as soon as possible, I think.
The severe currency crunch is fueling anger as most people are unable to withdraw their own salaries. With the bank holiday, the wait for notes has only increased. With inputs from Anu Diwan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now let's take a look at some more national stories in Nationwide. Samajwadi Party on Monday declared new candidates for 7 seats for the 2017 Assembly polls. Rahul Pandey and Subhash Pal has been given a ticket from Amapur and Bilgram Malawan seats respectively. Party has also changed candidates declared earlier from Madhavgarh, Kalpi and Kaga and named RP Niranjan, Anup Kumar Singh and Vinod Pasi from there respectively. Shops in Srinagar reopened on Monday for the first time in almost 5 months. Since July, the separatists extended relaxation for 3 days beginning Saturday to help people celebrate Eid. Since 19th of November, the separatists have offered relaxation in the shutdown on weekends to help people stock essential supplies. Parts of northern India on Monday witnessed a thick blanket of fog which reduced visibility across cities, delaying flights and trains. Chaos prevailed at the Indira Gandhi International Airport and at railway stations in the national capital as flights and trains were cancelled or rescheduled due to poor visibility. Time now for a very short break. We'll be back with international and sports news. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to India's World.
The term racist may not be entirely appropriate because this is not something which is new.
Answer is the same. Essentially, the economics talks on this issue and the social agenda, the conservative social agenda, which has grown in Europe.
Right gave that message, which was exactly the opposite of universalism of the left. Simple, straight, xenophobic, emotional messages which struck a chord.
Watch experts debate rise of right-wing politics in Europe in India's World on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. On to some sports and cricket news now. Well, India defeated England by an innings and 36 runs in the 4th test to take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match test series. Now, India made it 630 runs in their first innings in reply to England's 400, assisted by a double century by captain Virat Kohli and centuries by Murli Vijay and Jayant Yadav. In the second innings, England were bowled out for 195 with the spinner R. Ashwin picking up 6 wickets.
India wrapped up proceedings quickly on the final day of the 4th test in Mumbai to take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series. Resuming the day at 182 for 6, England showed no resistance and were able to add only 13 runs to their total before being bowled out for 195 runs in the second innings, handing the hosts victory by an innings and 36 runs. Spinner Ravichandran Ashwin was the pick of the bowlers once again, sending 6 batsmen back to the pavilion in the second innings and 12 overall. Earlier, England had posted a respectable total of 400 runs in the first innings, but India replied strongly with a formidable 631 runs, assisted by Virat Kohli's third double century in 2016 and centuries from Murali Vijay and Jayant Yadav. Virat Kohli was the man of the match. This triumph was also Kohli's 13th win as Test captain, putting him just behind Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Saurav Ganguly and Mohammad Azharuddin.
I think I would give my team a lot of credit for bouncing back from those tough situations. We haven't gotten anything on the platter. I think we've had to work hard for it, and it's been a result of constant pressure that we've forced the opposition to make mistakes.
For England, it was another disappointing display as they slumped to their 7th Test defeat this year. Barring Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow, all English batsmen struggled against spin. This was only the third time a team batting first lost by an innings after making 400 runs in the first innings.
It's just frustrating. We knew. So I think I said at the beginning of one of these games that to beat India in these conditions, you almost have to play the perfect game, and we haven't managed to do that. Having to take 14 odd wickets, on this surface against these batters in these conditions, we're going to push you behind the wicket.
The number 1 Test team India are now unbeaten in 17 tests and would look to extend the run in the 5th and final test, which will be played in Chennai starting December 16. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And not just cricket, Indians did well in the other sports as well. Let's take a look in Sports Beat. India defeated South Africa 2-1 in their last pool game to reach the quarter-final of the Men's Junior Hockey World Cup. India scored a goal each in both halves through skipper Harjeet Singh and Mandeep Singh to win a tight contest. With 3 wins from 3 games, India goes top to Pool B and will now face Spain in the last 8. The host team won the first 2 games against Canada and England.
Mandeep Singh delivers every time he's called upon. He runs towards the fans here in Lucknow.
Billiards player Pankaj Advani entered the final of the IBSF World Billiards Championship after defeating Myanmar's Ong Clay 5-0 in the semis. Advani will now meet defending champion Peter Gilchrist, who defeated India's Dwaraj Haria 5-1 in the other semi-final. And the Singapore Slammers defeated the Indian Aces 5-0 to secure the IPTL trophy. Carlos Moya beat Mark Philippoussis 6-4 to hand the initial advantage to his side. Kirsten Flipken and Sania Mirza then lost their respective singles match for the Aces. With 2 more set wins, Slammers retained the title with a dominating 30-14 scoreline. Let's now get you some international news. Well, as part of a major reshuffle, Pakistan's new Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa abruptly removed the head of the country's spy agency ISI and made several other significant changes in the Army's top brass. Well, General Bajwa appointed Lieutenant General Naveed Mukhtar as the Director General of the Inter-Services Intelligence, or the ISI, replacing Lieutenant General Rizwan Akhtar. Lieutenant General Akhtar was at the centre of a controversy following a newspaper report of a rift between the Pakistan government and its army. Now, the new ISI chief, Lieutenant General Mukhtar, possesses a vast experience in the field of intelligence and has headed the counter-terrorism wing of the spy agency in Islamabad. On to the other top international story. Well, China has expressed a serious concern after Donald Trump questioned US's Taiwan policy. Now, US President-elect said that he saw no reason why the US should continue abiding by one China policy unless a bargain is reached with Beijing involving trade. Now, his comments came days after he held a telephonic conversation with Taiwan's president, a move that had invited Beijing's wrath. US President-elect Donald Trump once again signaling a willingness to confront Beijing. In an interview to a TV news channel, Trump expressed doubts about continuing to abide by the One China policy. This came days after Trump set off a diplomatic controversy with Beijing when he took a call from leader of Taiwan that China considers as a breakaway province.
I fully understand the One China policy, but I don't know why we have to be bound by a one China policy unless we make a deal with China, having to do with other things, including trade. I mean, look, we're being hurt very badly by China with devaluation, with taxing us heavy at the borders when we don't tax them, with building a massive fortress in the middle of the South China Sea, which they shouldn't be doing, and frankly, with not helping us at all with North Korea. You have
Trump also said China was not cooperating with the US on its handling of its currency, on North Korea, or on tensions in the South China Sea. Trump's comments triggered a furious response from China's state-run Global Times newspaper, which in an editorial described the US president-elect as a child, ignorant of foreign policy. China's foreign ministry also expressed serious concern, adding that if Trump ditched to one China policy, bilateral cooperation will be out of the question.
涉及中方核心利益，坚持一个中国原则是发展中美关系的政治基础。如果这一基础受到了干扰和破坏，中美关系健康稳定发展。
Antagonistic rhetoric towards China has been a staple feature of Trump's campaign rallies. He has accused China of manipulating the value of its currency in order to give its products price advantage in the American market, and has also called for steeper tariffs on products imported from China. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's get you some more international stories in Global Buzz. The Syrian Observatory on Human Rights Monitor Group on Monday confirmed that Syrian government forces had retaken Sheikh Said district in southeastern Aleppo. The country's military has reportedly gained 98% of the Aleppo territory that used to be controlled by rebels as the battle for the city enters the final step. Meanwhile, a large number of civilians were reportedly fleeing the Al-Sukri and Al-Fardos neighborhoods after intense shelling of these areas. The Venezuelan government has announced it will replace the country's highest denomination banknotes with coins within 72 hours. It hopes swapping the 100 Bolivar notes will help to stop smuggling and tackle shortages of food and other items. Venezuelans will have 10 days from Wednesday to exchange the notes for coins and higher value bills. The death toll in a bomb attack at a Coptic Christian cathedral complex in Egypt's capital Cairo rose to 26 on Monday. 49 people, mostly women, were reportedly injured in the attack that is considered one of the deadliest in years. Meanwhile, Egypt's Coptic community held a funeral service for Christians killed in the bombing. No group has so far claimed responsibility for the attack. The explosion took place on Sunday during a mass inside Cairo's main Coptic cathedral. And China has reportedly provided aid worth Nepalese rupees 15.8 billion to Nepal for post-quake reconstruction. Nepal's Information and Communications Minister Surendra Kumar Karki said a cabinet meeting on Sunday decided to the grant. Well, that's it from the team in this edition of News Tonight. See you tomorrow, same time. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Thank you.